The Chinese version of Plants vs. Zombies 2 has received a lot of criticism over the years since it launched all the way back in 2013. It used to be seen as a wacky and cool, but worse version of PvZ2. It had lower quality graphics, sound effects, and only used a single song throughout the whole game. Thankfully, this is of the past. In my opinion, these days, the Chinese version is better than the international version. It took a while to get there, I will admit, but I cannot understand someone thinking 2i is better right now. I feel like the people that think that way simply have not played both versions, or have, but played 2C back when it looked like this. I don't want to put myself on a pedestal, but I know 2C was much less known back before I started making videos on it. This is actually one of the main reasons why I started this whole thing to begin with. I wanted to inform and teach people about this more obscure version of the game, showing off the good and the bad, the fun and the weird. And I was shocked to see that people actually loved it. However, one series in particular, while enjoyed by most, had an unwanted effect on the game's whole reputation. I'm talking about my horrible level design series. For those who are unaware, this is a series where I show off and play a level so bad that I just had to make a video on it. The level doesn't have to be the hardest PvZ level ever made, it has to be horribly designed, although those will usually go hand in hand. The problem with making a series focus solely on terrible levels is that a lot of people will think that most of the game is that way, when in reality, it's not. Yes, level design is still one of 2C's main issues, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that not every level is horrible. This game has a lot of positive aspects that don't get talked about because, well, humans love negativity. I know for a fact that the average person would rather watch a video on a horrible level compared to one on an amazing level. And I get that. I would honestly do the same exact thing. It's fun to watch how bad something can be. Unfortunately, I feel like by making this series, as well as other videos about stupid things in 2C, I've kinda destroyed the game's reputation in the eyes of the people that don't play it for themselves. Oh, another horrible level design video. Man, is there even anything good about that game? Yes there is. There's a lot actually, and that's what I want this video to be. I want to highlight the positives, the things that should be talked about more when discussing 2C, but don't because they're either overshadowed by the negatives or because people simply don't know about them. I made a list of the things I feel were positives, and I'll try to express them as well as I can. This first section will be about the developers. PopCap Shanghai used to be the company in charge of making the game, but about halfway through modern day, they were replaced by TalkWeb Games. So when I refer to the devs of 2C, that means TalkWeb. The devs are very active on social media, such as Bilibili. They often share artwork made by fans, and have even done full-on fan art contests. Fan art takes a good chunk of their posts, and they always give proper credit too. TalkWeb also shares a lot of concept art, mostly for the new plants and zombies they had, which is very handy as normally to find concepts, you would have to find the original artist and hope they shared some online. They constantly share images, videos, and trailers to tease new content to keep the fans both hyped and informed. Compare this to the international version that barely posts about the game anymore. TalkWeb right now is what PopCap used to be back in the day, posting trailers for the new updates. Although to be fair, they do share fan art by retweeting them, but far less than TalkWeb. It's not even close. They often listen to community feedback and make changes when enough people express their opinions. It could be by making polls to have people vote on what the next boss should be, or what plant should get a level 5 next. For example, when they revealed Jack-in-the-Box Zombie, people did not like his design, so they quickly tweaked it in their next post. It shows that fans can actually have an impact on the game, which isn't something you can say about most video games honestly. Outside of their social media, they even have surveys in the actual game from time to time, where they ask for feedback on the latest features, like how much they like the new plants, what they thought about the latest realm and its difficulty, etc. Completing these surveys are very worth your time, as they give great rewards. Heck, it can even be an exclusive costume. There have been times where TalkWeb messed up, whether it was adding a game-crashing bug or missing a deadline. In cases like these, they like to apologize by sharing code that you can enter in-game to get free stuff, usually coins, gems, and puzzle pieces. It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. It's also worth noting that TalkWeb has improved a lot since 2020 when they first took over. Back then, a lot of stuff was in a sort of development hell, like the Zombots for example, which explains the shockingly huge time gaps. Here's a quote from another 2C player. There was little content, the early memory lane was exceptionally bland, large collabs were a complete failure, and their first attempt at optimization was just bare minimum. They've gotten better year after year. Just at the start of 2026, they put out a massive update that not only adds new content, but also great optimization for various different things like music, maps, bug fixes, and better audio quality overall. They've been doing a lot of quality of life improvements recently, and I'm all here for it. I want to give a shout out to King HJ, one of 2C's community managers. He's done a lot of good for the community, like pushing for Magic Vine to be available outside of the Underground Palace. He's the reason why we got that PvZ2's Secret Realm. Otherwise, we would have gotten a rerun of the Frostbite Cave's Resurgence one. He said it himself that he prefers more unique realms. He keeps players informed about upcoming updates, and I think he deserves to be mentioned in this video. Still on the devs, but now I'll go into more specific areas. Animations have greatly improved since the old days. Compare the newest 2C plants with the newest 2i plants, and it's clear as day that 2C has better animators. Their movements aren't as stiff, and the effects are cleaner. They still aren't as high quality as the original plants that PopCap made, but most are good enough that I don't see a reason to complain. TalkWeb sometimes reanimates and/or redesigns ports from 2i due to how bad they were. Think Scary Shroom, Doom Shroom, Catapult Zombie, Zomboni. It says a lot when the standards of the Chinese devs are higher than the international team. The art team from 2C rocks, they really do. From the plants to the zombies, the lawn and other various assets, they have some artists that are on par and at times are even better than PopCap. Not everything clicks, but look at the plants they've made over the years and I'm sure you'll find at least one you love just by looking at it. I also want to highlight all the icons they create for the new updates, which they also sometimes do voting for, as well as the gorgeous loading screens, which have a lot of personality. Their animations could use some work, but as static images, I love them. I talked about the animators and artists, but let's not forget the composers. Secret Realms, Z-Tailmate Escape, and their original worlds, the music is constantly really enjoyable. I especially love the Z-Corp Takeovers theme. And the Parallel Universe remixes. Now I'll be talking more about the overall player experience. Updates are frequent, and they tend to add a fair amount of content, unlike the international version which might add a new plant and a timed event. TalkWeb is much faster than Slingshot, the company now behind the international version in case you weren't aware, although this sometimes leads into things not having been tested enough. However, they might make a quick update to fix problems a few days after the main update, but sometimes they sadly don't care. Due to these frequent updates, there is always something to do in this game. You have the modes that are always there, like the adventure, daily challenges, the creative courtyard, and PvP. But you also have the ones that change every week or so, like Penny's Pursuit, The Endless Challenge, and Memory Lane. If you're done with those, you might have limited time events, like Jingle Bells, Zombie Elimination Initiative, Boss Rush, and a lot more that come back when Talk Web feels like it. And don't forget the Secret Realms, limited time or not. I find it very easy to earn resources in this version, especially coins and gems. Coins are basically a joke, as the game showers you with them no matter what you do. Just an example, you can buy 20,000 coins in Memory Lane's shop, or 4 snail coins. You get 100 snail coins by completing a single Memory Lane level, 160 if you choose the bonus objectives. And don't worry, I'm talking about the regular mode, not the hard mode where most of the horrible levels are. This means you can get 500,000 coins just by beating one level. I told you they were a joke. Gems are much rarer, but once again, Memory Lane gives you a lot, and other game modes like Penny's Pursuit and PvP provide a good amount as well. It's much easier to earn gems in 2C than in 2I. I believe that leveling and earning plants is also easier in 2C. To unlock a plant, you always only need 10 puzzle pieces of that plant, no matter its rarity. Puzzle pieces are basically seed packets. Any more pieces after those 10 are used for leveling it. You need a total of 210 pieces to max out a plant. 30 for level 2, 50 for level 3, another 50 for level 4, and 80 for level 5 if they have one. To compare, to max out Pea Shooter in the international version, you need 5,788 seed packets. Yes, plants have more than 5 levels there, but a max out Pea Shooter in both versions is fairly equal in strength, so making that comparison seems fair to me. You can get puzzle pieces in various different ways. Most game modes have their own shops with their own selection of pieces that change every once in a while. There's also the weekly gacha, which is what I would consider the best way to spend your gems as a beginner, as you get a lot more pieces than the regular chest in the store. Those chests are a complete scam, by the way. Do not waste your gems on them unless you are specifically looking for escape route or tile turnip. The weekly gacha shows you which plants you'll get pieces for, and the selection is small enough that you'll get what you want most of the time. The leveling system is also a lot more fun in general compared to the one in 2i. Would you rather have small buffs to a plant's stats, or it gaining a brand new ability or improving its original effect? Yes, not every leveling in 2C is that interesting, but most plants still get something cool at some point, especially if they can reach a level 5. Only a few plants in 2i gain a new ability when leveled, like Stalia, Stunnion, and Hot Potato. It's fun to see what wacky things they can add to a plant. Earning a lot of the plants will depend on limited time events and whether you participate in them or not. It might take a while to have the chance to collect pieces for a plant if you miss an event, but they do eventually come back. It's just that we can't know when or where. I know that's not a positive, but I had to mention that part. It's not like the international version doesn't work like that with its Cedium plants either, to be fair. If you ever have extra puzzle pieces for a plant you have maxed out, or for one that you simply don't want to level up, you can fuse those pieces via gene modification to get a piece for a different plant. The rarer the piece, the rarer the fused one will be. A lot of plants aren't available here, but there are still some really strong ones. In 2i, you just have to deal with it. You got extra seed packets for a plant you don't want? Well, too bad. This game does lock things behind paywalls. However, plants that are paid only usually become free to play later down the line. There's been some exceptions, but most plants have been available for everyone at some point. Most of the paid-only ones are plants that were recently added less than a year ago, which I understand why they would keep them paid for some time. They have to make money somehow, the game is free. I will mention that things used to be worse and a lot more stuff was paid only, but TalkWeb has gotten a lot more generous as time went on. And for some, a bit too generous. Get this, pay-to-win players sometimes have to beg TalkWeb not to give away too much stuff for free so that their money doesn't go to waste. I'm dead serious, they actually do that. A lot of people's reason for disliking 2C was that it was too pay to win, which was somewhat fair before, but this is no longer the case. The Chinese version has so many costumes, and some amazing ones at that. 2i gave up on making costumes after Nightcap, but 2c never stopped, and they just keep on adding ones to a bunch of plants, both old and new. Costumes improve a plant's plant food effect and or stats in this version, so they aren't purely cosmetic. Some of the super costumes are probably too much for some of you, but you can't deny how much effort goes into these. Have you seen the ones they made for every single variant of Mega Gatling P? Now I'll mention some more positive aspects of the game that I couldn't fit into a particular category. The plant leveling menu looks really good. It has a lot of personality compared to the Almanac, which still exists by the way, but nearly everything can be found in this menu. You can even tap the plant and it will play its dancing animation. The game has no intrusive ads. Unlike 2i, where the game decides to play an ad after beating a level, in 2c that's not a thing. Now there are ads that you can choose to watch to earn coins, gems, and other resources, but those are fully optional, which I think is one of the best ways to implement ads in free games. They added new content to already existing worlds, whether it be new gimmicks, minigames, zombies, plants. This can be seen as both a positive and a negative, as some of this new content is not very fun. Like the additions to the Dark Ages, for example. But there's still a lot of cool stuff that was added, and that's why I'm mentioning it. There's also more worlds than the international versions, some being decent, others not so much. More content isn't always a good thing, but even the worst things add effort, like the art or music for example. It's hard to put new worlds as a plus when there's just so much to say about them, so I'll leave it at that. This is a positive video after all. The game has a level creator in the form of the Creative Courtyard, where you can make your very own PvZ levels and upload them for other players to enjoy. While the mode isn't as expensive as I wish it was, mainly the fact that you can only have a maximum of 10 waves in a level for some stupid reason, there's still a lot of fun to be had with it. The mode even has its own shop that is very beginner friendly with a lot of good stuff to buy. There's also the 2-player mode or PvP. I was hesitant to include it here as the balancing is a bit wonky and the plant strategies get very repetitive, but I would be lying if I said that this mode wasn't really fun at times. There's a lot of strategy involved that you can't find anywhere else. It's so unique that I could honestly see it being its own spin-off game. Sadly, I can't praise it too much as it's far from perfect and they keep on making some very questionable additions. There's one event that comes on every once in a while that I have to mention, Lucky Chests. Here, all you have to do is play 10 levels from any game mode, except the Creative Courtyard, and you'll be able to open 3 chests. These chests are amazing for the simple fact that they can contain any plant from the entire game, no matter if they are currently paid only or not. You can also get nearly every costume, just no party or super costumes. Even paid only ones once again. This event rocks no matter if you're a beginner or not. You can even get a ton of gems or costume vouchers that you can use to unlock a primary costume of your choice. Yes, you do have to be very lucky in order to get the rare stuff, but since you get 3 chests per day and the event lasts for a long time, it's very likely that you'll get something good. TalkWeb really treats their free-to-play players better than you think. Did you know that 2C has an official website? And it's not just for downloading the game either. There's a news section, there's one about each world with a small description, one going over every single plant, zombie, item, and artifact, basically being the almanac, but with some things that aren't even in the in-game almanac, like the parallel universe zombies. There's even a gallery for every title screen artwork and every app icon, from oldest to newest. Most pages even have their own music that isn't even from the game, or at least isn't in the game yet. I will remind you that this is all official. Another thing that's easy to forget is that 2C is amazing for the modding community, as it provides them with free, mostly high quality assets that can be used for different purposes, saving the modders time while still being seen as new content for most players, as most people have never played 2C for themselves. Since they can't just copy and paste things one-to-one, coding is still needed, which means it still requires some effort on the modder's part. That's why I can't call this laziness. I've seen mods come up with amazing things using 2C assets, and I know I'll continue to see more in the future. Just don't see 2C as only free mod assets rather than its own game. Before you go and write essays in the comments listing all the bad things about this game, just know that you're missing the point. This video was made to show that the Chinese version is more than just bad level design. I know this game is far from perfect. I play it every day. I'm not trying to hide the bad stuff, nor did I make this video to invalidate any and all actual criticism of the game. I just could not stand here and let all this positive stuff be overshadowed by the negatives. This video was not a review of the game. If it was, then yes, I would mention both the good and the bad. We know about the bad level design. It doesn't need to be mentioned as a counter-argument to invalidate all the good things about the game. I hope this video made you learn something new, and that now you'll see that 2C isn't as bad as it initially seemed. I don't do these types of videos often, so let me know if you enjoyed this different format and if there's anything that I should improve on if I ever do something like this again. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Shout out to my awesome channel members. Thank you guys so much for the support. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.